Join us at a Friends of NRA event where freedom, fun, and firearms come together like nowhere else. With more than 600 events held across the country, there's always one happening near you. From exciting games to exclusive auctions featuring one-of-a-kind firearms and gear you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're a lifelong hunter, a competitive shooter, or simply passionate about defending freedom, there is a seat for you. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you and get ready for a night you won't forget.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to the Migration Podcast, your guide for waterfowl hunting tactics, gear, and conservation. And now, your host, Brian Hallbly.
What is up, everyone? As Johnny M. said, I'm your host, Brian Hallbly. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to tune in to the Migration Waterfowl Podcast. Coming to you from the headwaters of the Ohio River at the Migration Waterfowl headquarters in western Pennsylvania. Migration Waterfowl is presented by Bluebird Waterfowl. The high was 73 today, and it's going down into the 50s tonight. Finally. It's starting to feel like fall, and just in time with waterfowl season just a few days away by the time this episode launches. I'll be hunting geese and doves starting on Monday. The plan is to hunt geese in the morning and dove in the evening. Man, it's hard to believe that we're only a few days away from my first waterfowl hunt of the season, and only about a week away from a trip out west for teal. It's finally here, and I'm ready for it. Well, mostly. More stuff is arriving from Rig'em-Right. I just got a few more boxes in the mail. I got their new widgeon decoys, which I got to check out at the Ducks Expo. Freaking awesome detail. Lightweight, expert craftsmanship that you would expect from Rig'em-Right. Super quality. And got a box of their pintails as well, and some green wing teal, and a couple of slotted decoy bags and some decoy rigging, different lengths and different weights for different applications. You guys know Rig'em-Right has just about everything you need for waterfowl hunting, so be sure to go check them out and check off the last few things on your list for the season. And the Aves Hybrid Elite backpacks just came back in stock also. So I've got one of those on the way as well. And my procrastination has paid off again. I was going to start packing my old pack last week, and I just put it off due to other more pressing projects. So pretty excited to have one of those Hybrid Elite packs on the way. I'm hopeful it'll arrive by week's end so I can get it organized for goose hunting on Monday, and then for my teal trip out west. If you haven't seen that pack yet, you need to get over to aveshunting.com and check it out. They rethought and redesigned the Waterfowler backpack. I think you'll really find the innovations that they've done on there real interesting. You know, typical backpack just has a big open hole in it, and inevitably everything that you need is at the bottom. Well, this Hybrid Elite backpack has a shelving system. It zips open on the side, so you can have everything organized in different levels, so you're not digging to the bottom and sifting through everything. It's got a bunch of handles on it, so you can carry it several different ways. Backpack straps, you name it, they thought of everything on there. So check that out if you're in need of a backpack or any other gear, camo, early season lightweight gear, midweight season, and they even got you covered for the late season when that rolls around. So give them a look. It was a busy week, and it's going to be nonstop moving forward from here. I finally got some trail cameras set up and put out for deer around home to see if I can find where a few of the good bucks I've seen around are spending their time. I'll also be making a run to my Ohio deer property to do the same. Both Pennsylvania and Ohio's archery deer seasons open the end of September, so I need to get some intel while I'm out west hunting teal. I also checked out one of my dove spots, and there's no shortage of doves around as usual, so plenty to keep me busy throughout September. I also picked up an outboard motor for the boat project. As I mentioned before, I needed a smaller horsepower motor to access all the horsepower restricted lakes and reservoirs in my area. Many of them have a 20 horsepower limit, so I've been keeping an eye on quite a few over the last few weeks on Facebook Marketplace, and they've been moving pretty quickly. I guess just end of season, people trying to get rid of them, and people are looking for deals and scooping them up. But most of the 20 horsepower two-stroke outboards with tiller steer in the 20-year-old range with electric start have been going for around $1,500 to $2,000. It seemed like every decent one I messaged about was either pending or just sold. I found a Johnson that was listed for $1,500. That was about 20 minutes south of me. And I was messaging the guy back and forth. And I also found a Suzuki that was a bit of a drive, but appeared to be in really great shape. And that one was only listed at $550. Probably too good to be true, but I reached out and the seller told me that it runs great and there aren't any problems with it, but someone was coming to buy it on Saturday, of course. So I told him to let me know if that falls through. So back to the Johnson. I was going to go buy it Saturday, but the guy couldn't meet me until Sunday for me to check it out. So out of the blue on Saturday, the seller of the Suzuki messaged me back and said the buyer never showed up and it was available if I wanted it. They didn't start it. It came on a bigger boat that they wanted, but they already had a bigger motor for the river they live near. I told them it was an hour and a half drive for me, and I wasn't real crazy about buying a motor I couldn't see run after driving that far. I know just enough to be dangerous when it comes to mechanical stuff, but without hearing it and seeing it run, I'd be kind of at a loss. I'd just be guessing. And then shortly after that, I got a video of it from them. It was started and running smoothly and back and forth between reverse and forward. So I was kind of shocked it was priced so low, probably because it was a bit of a drive and out in the boonies. That's the only thing I could make sense of. Or, they said they got that other boat and they were just trying to make a little money off the motor to get rid of it. But anyway, I made the arrangements to pick it up and I couldn't give them my money fast enough once I saw it. I mean, this thing is super clean for a 20-year-old outboard. And Suzuki has been around forever. They're known for great two-stroke motors, so I'm just thankful I came across this deal. Saved me a bunch of money. That'll be more money in my pocket that I can put into the boat project. So, yeah, I'll be limited on the places I can get with an outboard, but surface drive is just not in the budget this year. I've got enough kayaks and friends with canoes and smaller otter boats and things that we can either throw on the deck of the boat or drag alongside if we've got to get deeper. So not that big of a concern. Just looking forward to getting that done. Like I said, it should definitely be done by October for the October duck opener. I was hoping to have it done earlier, but I talked a little bit about it last episode with restoring my dad's truck, and everything else I had going on. So it kind of is what it is, but we're going to get it done. And with all of that, I almost forgot to mention that the new website is live. If you go to migrationwaterfowl.com, you'll see that that's up and running. It's been and will be a work in progress, but my goal is to build that into your one-stop spot for all things migration waterfowl. You can shop for merch there right now, and eventually I'll be adding some written blogs and some video vlogs. There'll be partner links to all of our media. There'll be partner links and links to all of our media and the Patreon channel over there. I'm also working on some other projects that will be featured on the site soon, so be sure to stop by and check it out. As I've mentioned, I've been adding video versions of the podcast to Spotify and to the YouTube channel. That's also a process, so be patient with me while I go back through and upload all the old episodes. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel while you are there. I'll be videoing everything I get into again this season, and you'll be able to follow along with everything every time I put up a new video if you're subscribed. Please do me a favor and tell all of your waterfowl hunting family and friends about the Migration Waterfowl podcast. That is one of the best ways you can help the show continue to grow. I'd also appreciate if you could take a minute and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you send me a message after you leave the review, I'll send you a Migration Waterfowl podcast decal. So let me get to the partners real quick. Bluebird Waterfowl, they are the creators of the Animator. The Animator is revolutionizing the waterfowl community with the world's first spinning wing decoy conversion kit. Turn your existing spinner into a water motion decoy in seconds and learn how to finish more birds with the sound of water. Guaranteed to boost your hunt or your money back. Flaring birds with your spinner is a thing of the past. Try one risk-free at bluebirdwaterfowl.com or at your favorite local outdoor supplier. Don't forget to check out their new line of wings. That's WINGZ, with 4 different wing sets to maximize your spinner presentations in any conditions. Rig 'em Right Outdoors, producers of the most well-designed and well-built products, tried and tested by the most heavily seasoned hunters on the planet. Their mission has always been and will always be to design, build, and supply the most innovative and high-performance hunting products available at a reasonable price. When you're in the need of some decoy rigging, decoys, blind bags, and packs, dog accessories, blinds, chairs, or stools, check them out at rigemright.com or your favorite local outdoor retailer. I'm going to be bringing some more unboxings and reviews of all the Rig 'em Right stuff that I just got, so keep an eye on the YouTube channel for that. The Duck Hole and Company, attracting feathers together. They are a full-service habitat company located in North Carolina. If you have questions about waterfowl habitat or need some work done on your property, contact them through any of their social media platforms at the Duck Hole Company. They can also fix you up with golden millet, also known as the duck buffet, and the best bang for your duck. Flight Day Ammunition. Flight Day Ammo was born in the heart of the Mississippi Flyway in west central Missouri. Founder Ben Myers and his family have duck hunted this region of the country for over 50 years. Ben's passion for quality ammunition led to the development of his own brand. Flight Day utilizes the best components in the ammo industry, which provides unmatched quality, patterns, and lethality. Flight Day's bismuth stock is estimated to be gone by the end of August, so get your orders in now if you want bismuth for this season. Last time I talked to Ben, he said he had some boxes left. I don't think there's any cases left, so you want to make sure you get over there ASAP and get it before it's gone. But every ending has a new beginning. Stay tuned for a new, exciting, non-toxic option from Flight Day coming in September. And of course, you can always get their revolutionary max payload steel rounds anytime. Check them out at flightdayammo.com and be sure to use discount code MW10 at checkout to save 10%. He's gotten quite a few orders with that discount code. I truly appreciate you guys supporting the partners. That goes a long way with helping the show grow, helping our partners grow, and you're getting some great products out of the deal. So thank you so much. I'm going to be having Ben back on with Jimmy Mahler. They've been making their podcast rounds and social media rounds. Really good show together over on Elliot's podcast, North American Waterfowler, if you haven't checked that out. But we're going to get them scheduled. We're going to wait a couple of weeks, maybe not till the end of August, beginning of middle of September, just so, you know, they'll get their message spread out and it won't be just back to back on these couple of podcasts. Because I know a lot of you listen to my podcast, you listen to Elliot's podcast and some of the other more popular ones out there. So we're going to put that on the back burner for a little bit, but really exciting stuff coming up, and listen to them put to rest all this argument about speed and velocity and penetration and, you know, a lot of the stuff that we were led to believe for years just isn't the case. So that'll be a cool show, so stay tuned for that. Aves Hunting Gear is the official hunting clothing and camo of Migration Waterfowl. The unmatched quality of their high-performance fabrics and direct-to-consumer sales model delivers high-end gear at wholesale pricing. Their unique camouflage pattern was built from the sky down, mimicking the natural camouflage of a hen mallard. Check out their innovative line of technical waterfowl clothing and their revolutionary refuge camo at aveshunting.com. That's AVES hunting.com. Advanced waterfowl gear designed for every condition. Just like the Rig 'em Right stuff, I'm going to be doing a complete review of all of the Aves products that I received on the YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed over there so you won't miss any of that. Northern duck calls, precision crafted duck and goose calls made right here in my home state of Pennsylvania. Crafted in a small shop with big sound in Montgomery County, not far from the historically waterfowl-rich Delaware River Valley. Check out their ruckus cut-down call and more at northernduckcalls.com. Be sure to use code MW15 for 15% off. Also, let any of our partners know that you heard about them on the Migration Waterfowl podcast whenever you're dealing with them, asking questions or placing orders. Even if you don't spend any money with them, if you just let them know, hey, I've had some questions, I heard about you on the Migration Waterfowl podcast, that goes a long way and helps me to not only keep the show growing, but it shows the partners that, you know, I'm getting the word out for them and trying to help them grow too. So I greatly appreciate that. On this episode of the Migration Waterfowl podcast, I'll be talking with my friends Mike Pomaibo and Chase Fichter from Pennsylvania. Mike and I hunted together quite a few times last year, and we have become good friends. I was recently introduced to his hunting buddy Chase, and we hit it off pretty quickly, talking waterfowl, swapping scouting reports, and I've come to learn that Chase isn't afraid to scout and put the work in to be a successful waterfowler. He also brings a lot to the table in terms of gear and a good attitude, all the attributes you look for in a good hunting buddy. We talk about changes to the Pennsylvania hunting seasons and what the recently approved Sunday hunting will mean for waterfowl hunters moving forward. We discuss our plans this last week leading up to the goose and dove opener. We also talk about our goals for the season and what equipment we will be using. Thank you to God for blessing us with another opportunity to get together for another episode. So let's get into episode number 70.
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
Welcome back to another episode of the Migration Waterfowl podcast. I appreciate you all coming back and joining me today. I've got a couple of special guests, two of my friends from Pennsylvania, Mr. Mike Pomaibo and Mr. Chase Fichter. How's it going tonight, gentlemen?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's like 70 degrees outside. I did a little scouting for some doves, hung some trail cameras for deer, and just nice to get a break from all that heat that we've been having.
Oh, yeah, dude, I agree.
And finally can drink one of these pumpkin beers here.
Yeah.
I can't drink them when it's 90 degrees, but they come out when it's 90 degrees.
Right. Give you a little taste of fall time.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been a basic white girl from way back with my pumpkin spice stuff. But in my defense, my mom used to make all kind of pumpkin desserts when I was a kid, so I was pumpkin spice before pumpkin spice was cool.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'll drink a pumpkin spice latte on my way to the blind. I don't care.
Heck yeah. Well, you've been on the show before. I want to give Chase a chance to introduce himself and tell the audience anything he wants them to know about him.
My name is Chase Fichter. I've been waterfowl hunting for probably I think I'm going into my 4th season now. I'd say my favorite type of hunting is probably backwater marshes, for ducks. I'm doing a lot of field hunting for geese.
Yeah, that's Mike's been filling me in on. You guys have hunted for what, a couple of years together now?
Yeah, I think. All right, Mike.
Yeah, this will be year 3, I believe.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I just started hunting with Mike last year, and he's been telling me a little bit about you, and you kind of hunt the same way we kind of hunt, and it's always nice to have a extra set of eyes and extra set of wheels and somebody to scout with us. And so I'm looking forward to laying down some birds with you this year.
Yeah, I'm ready. Well, that's a long time.
Yeah.
A long off season.
Yeah, it sure has been. Definitely looking forward to getting back into the swing of things. We're getting close. I mean, Pennsylvania's, kind of late on the duck season, but really duck season doesn't get good until the weather comes that we need anyway. So, but it's nice to have a chance to get some geese and some dove and kind of keep us busy with that until duck season rolls around.
Yeah, I have to wait early season, but early.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about these Sunday hunting changes? I kind of have an idea what your thoughts are, but let's flesh that out a little bit since that's kind of new.
I guess for me, I was kind of bummed to see that the Sunday hunting didn't affect migratory bird season this year, because obviously in years past, if we've hunted on a Saturday, we find an X on Saturday after we're not set up on the X. It would be nice to go back on Sunday and know exactly where those birds are. But Chase and I have talked about it a little bit. I think kind of my saving grace is that they're putting a lot of the Sundays in archery season and rifle season, so at least I can hunt ducks and geese on Saturday, and then I can always make it out either Sunday morning or Sunday evening and at least get a deer hunt in to kind of keep my weekend full. So I'm trying to be an optimist and, I guess think lightly of it. I know some guys are really, really upset that it didn't affect the migratory bird seasons, but I mean, for me, at least it's a step in the right direction, in my opinion.
So yeah, the reason I wanted to have you guys on, I wanted to talk a little bit about our plans for the season, talk about our goals, talk a little bit about some of the equipment we're going to be using. I know Mike likes to burn some spots, but I'm not going to let him do that on the show here tonight.
Just pins, man. I'm just everybody who wants a pin. I'm like Oprah. I'm dropping pins, man. You get a pin. You get a pin.
It makes me laugh because I get a good amount of people that will watch my YouTube videos or listen to the podcast, and they're like always trying to guess. Like, I think I know where you're hunting. I'm like, well, why are you worried about it? Like, I'm not quite sure. You know, my spots aren't much better than anybody else's. I just work a little harder to get away from everybody. So it's like, you know, unless you're willing to put the time in, it's not going to do you any good to know where my spots are.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things is you post a picture and people, you know, I mean, at least they're not burning the spots in my comment section, but they'll say, "Oh, I think I know where you're at." And I was like, "Well, that's fine, but please don't say any more."
Yeah, that's always an interesting phenomenon when social media, that's kind of like the double-edged sword. You know, we like to be storytellers and share our experiences and things, but it's, you know, we're usually respectful with, well, I shouldn't say usually, we're always respectful with not burning spots and trying to keep things anonymous, but some people just like to dig into it like it's some kind of badge of honor or contest or something.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not people saying, "Hey, I have, you know, your latitude and longitude," but for some reason people get so excited to say, "You know what, man, I know where you're at. Have I hunted there? No. Will I hunt there? Probably not, but I know where you're at." It always seems a little weird.
Yeah. There's always seems to be a thing too with a small percentage of people that like kind of like the Monday morning quarterbacks or the armchair quarterbacks that know better than everybody. And some people think, you know, because I have a podcast, they're like, "Oh, this guy thinks he knows everything or he's an expert." But I've never claimed that. I've never claimed to know everything. I'm certainly not an expert waterfowl hunter, but it's just like like I said, almost like a badge of honor or a contest thing with them sometimes.
Yeah, I know that I had made actually a TikTok about it, but I had talked about how just ruthless some of these Facebook groups can be, where you like, you know, you post a pile picture that you're just super proud of, and you're just like, "You know what, man, this might be 2 Drake wood ducks, but I had a heck of a time, and maybe somebody will be, you know, excited." And then all the responses are like, "Oh, back in my day, I shot 86 Drake wood ducks with 3 shells." And you're like, "All right, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad, man."
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the haters, but it makes me chuckle because every week we got to deal with a couple of them here and there, which, you know, if it's just a few, then we can handle it. So, but jumping back to the Sunday hunting thing, you know, that's going to be interesting to see how they add that to duck season, because it's going to take away part of the 60 days. Chase, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think they should do with implementing those Sundays?
Honestly, if it's going to take away from the 60 days, I think they should leave the season the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of would be nice to see maybe some longer splits and let it go longer into like the late season, because sometimes we don't even get a push of birds until like almost late January.
Mm-hmm.
We start seeing more and more birds.
Yeah, that's for sure. I always liked those years when I'd get that late veteran hunt too.
Yeah.
You'd always get that late push, and some people say, you know, it kind of can be coinciding with the return migration too, which I'm not a biologist, so I'm not going to argue that, but I can't see that making that big of a deal if you just let it run through the end of January.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think? What should I do with those Sundays?
I mean, I guess I don't know if this will be a hot take or not. I mean, I think the early season, that 2 weeks or whatever in October is fun. I guess it's only a week. That week is fun. I call that Woody Week because that's basically, I feel like everything I see that week is mostly wood ducks, and it's great. And I know it would kind of be a bummer to have the season start later, but if taking away that week added a week on to our zone in January, I would be all for it. Just like Chase and you guys just said, sometimes we don't even get a big push of birds until late January anyway. So if we took that week off of the front and gave us a couple days in the back, that would be fine with me. But I don't know. I guess until we go for it, we'll never know. Because like I said, it would be nice to have hunt those Saturdays. And okay, we might be off the X by 200 yards, but I know where there's some birds, and I can come back tomorrow and move, and that might work out for me. But I guess it's easy to say that while we have the structure the way it is now.
Yeah, the Northwest Zone, which I spend a lot of time, and I've got a lot of good spots in the Northwest Zone. That goes October 11th through the 28th, which I think is kind of a dead period there for a good part of that. I mean, you get towards the end of November, you can have some good pushes with the weather, but yeah, I don't know. I know they did a comment period years ago, and a lot of the hunters in Pennsylvania wanted that early season left alone. So I guess this is one of the main reasons why they left it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the regs here. The North Zone is also October 11th through the 25th. So you get a week in the South Zone, the 11th through the 18th. And then the Lake Erie Zone is November 3rd through January 10th, which I guess if you're doing a lot of diver hunting up there too, I guess that's not terrible. But I would like to see it structured with more emphasis on the late season for sure.
Yeah, because I know that even last year, the first time you and I had hunted together was, I want to say, around Christmas time. And then me, Chase, and our other buddy, we had a pretty bang-up day on the river. And that was, I'm pretty sure, the last weekend. And if we could have kept hunting, later on, we only saw more and more birds. And I know that, Sean, living by the river, he sends us pictures and updates often. It's the last week of January, and he says, hey, I just saw probably 500 ducks just loafing. So it would be nice to emphasize that late season.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I guess we'll just keep an eye on it. And I'm assuming they're going to have another comment period for hunters to put their input in. So, but again, we've got, I forget what the numbers were, I looked up, but we're fighting against 600,000 deer hunters that maybe occasionally duck hunt. So what do we have? 30,000 duck hunters in Pennsylvania, I think was the last numbers I looked at. But that I could be way off on that, but I was just messaging a guy about that. He was asking my opinion about that. See if I can pull that up there. But yeah, it would. No, I'm sorry, I was way off. 14,000 duck hunters. I think that was 2023 the last time they published those numbers. So yeah, battling against the deer hunters in a deer hunting state. It is what it is. We'll just keep doing the best we can and get our comments in and pick our birds when we can.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of hunters, they fall off like after the first half of the season too, once it starts getting really cold.
Yeah.
And deer rifle season comes in. I feel like a lot of them just go to deer hunting. So I feel like a lot of guys don't get out much during the late season.
Yeah, especially if the weather's really bad. That
Yeah.
really keeps everybody at home. So, Chase, you do a lot of goose hunting early season. Walk me through kind of what your early season preparation looks like for that.
Lots of scouting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to find the birds. I guess just get on an app like OnX, HuntWise. Just start looking for like agricultural fields, big water, and then start driving around, seeing if it's public, private, try to get some permission.
Yeah. Are you mostly field hunting, or are you mixing up some water hunts too?
I like to do a lot of field hunting for geese, but obviously I'll go wherever the birds are.
Yeah. So what's your setups look like for field hunting? You use a mix of silos and full bodies, or what's that look like?
We typically use, like a mix of like socks, silos, full body, shells. It usually depends. Like if we're trying to traffic birds, like into a field they haven't like really been in, we might put out like around 10 dozen.
Okay.
Of like mixed decoys.
Are you using A-frames or layouts, or just depends on the situation?
Layout blinds, mostly, yeah.
Okay.
Unless we're hunting water, and then we'll probably stick up like a pop-up blind.
Yeah.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Now, Mike, you've hunted geese with him before, haven't you?
Yeah, I feel like a lot last year. Most of our hunting was a lot of field hunting, a lot of combo duck and goose hunts. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I love the layouts. They're not a big guy, so I fit right into mine, dude. I feel like I'm ready to take a little nap when I get in there, man. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, a lot of our field hunts last year, just like Chase said, mix of decoys. And when we're trafficking birds, we were throwing out everything that we had. Our one buddy that hunted with us, he was our designated flagger. So when we were running traffic, man, we had just everything that we could possibly think of, or everything we had gear-wise. Getting there super early to throw out all those decoys, brush everything in super well. And I mean, a lot of our combo duck and goose hunts, we would run tons of goose decoys and then just a couple of mallard spinners, maybe a dozen full body mallards mixed in there, and the ducks were eating the spinners up, and if the geese picked up, both of the spinners were on a remote, turn the remotes off and start hollering at the geese a little bit. So it made for some nice combo hunts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into a little more of that. Last couple of years, I've gone out west for early teal season, and haven't really goose hunted a whole lot. So definitely looking forward to getting a little more of that in the mix, and hopefully we can get something done on Monday morning. It's coming up quick.
Yeah, I mean, all summer, man, we talked about how the dog days of summer were hitting us. We had, 30 days, 60 days until the season starts, and then now it's, we're just a couple of days out. The anticipation's starting to eat at me, man. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty much ready, but there's always like 5 more things to do, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, the work never ends, and I feel like for me, I think about the birds, I think about the gear, I think about all the things that I need to do, whether that's in, my professional or personal life before getting to go hunt on opening weekend. And then this time of year, I'm just thinking about people in my spot. That's what I'm starting to worry about now, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to try to do a goose hunt Monday morning and do a little dove hunting in the evening. So I guess we'll just be keeping our eyes peeled all week and try to come up with a plan as Monday gets closer.
Yeah, man. Got some couple evenings right after work planned to get out and move around a little bit. I have some spots that I really want to hit, and then a couple other spots Chase and I have been scouting that we know some local birds are frequenting, so it should hopefully, I mean, that's going to be a killer day, man, if we can get on some geese in the morning, take a little siesta, and then go back out for doves in the afternoon, man. That should make up for a sweet Labor Day, man.
Well, you might get a siesta. I got to go to a cookout at midday, so I'll be dragging butt for sure.
Little car.
Chase, what's your plans for the week?
I mean, not too much. I think I'm actually supposed to go Thursday with Mike to go, like he said, to go scout some fields.
Okay.
For some geese.
Hopefully I'll be able to make that with you. Then you're going out of town, what, Friday to Sunday?
Yeah, man, I got talked into a little Walt Disney World getaway. So Friday right after work I fly out, but then I'll be back Sunday evening. So as long as my truck is packed on Thursday night, Sunday night I just got to get all my camera stuff together and I'll be good to go for Monday morning.
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me. I got to make sure all my cameras are charged and ready to go. It's always just like the technical difficulties we had before the podcast here. There's always something that goes wrong with the cameras.
Yup, always.
So, and the same thing with trail cameras. I spent way too many hours today because I was trying to get a couple of spots. In Pennsylvania, we're allowed to put out bait up until 30 days before the season. Everything has to be gone. So still have a little bit of time for that. So I was trying to beat the clock here and get some cameras out and see where these big bucks are around me. But I think about a third of my trail cameras were fighting me. It's a double-edged sword with this technology, whether you're filming hunts or using trail cameras or recording podcasts. It's just technology is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, last year was the first year I tried to start doing a little bit of self-filming. I wasn't, too deep into it last year, and I remember that Chase and I, we had dropped a couple of birds on, I think it was the last day of the season, or second to last day, and I was like so proud of myself that my GoPro was on, and then I looked back at the footage and it was just covered in rain. So you could kind of barely just see me smacking a bird and then finishing it off on the water. And I was like, well, you know what? I need to be better prepared this year, man. I was so bummed.
Yeah. Chase, you do any filming?
No, not currently, but I'd like to. There were definitely a lot of hunts last year where I wish we had a camera rolling and got it on footage because some of them are pretty good.
Yeah. There's something to be said for just concentrating on the hunt, though, and not worrying about that stuff. Last year was my first full season filming. I think I did 13 videos on my YouTube channel. And I think all of them turned out decent, but there was probably only maybe 20%, 30% that I think that everything went right and I did a good job. But I'm hopefully going to take it to the next level this year. We'll see.
Yeah, that's kind of my plan too. I got into it a little bit last year, and then since the season ended, I've been building up my camera setup a little bit, trying to have a little bit of everything, a couple different angles. We'll see if, sometimes me personally, if I see birds working and I can't reach over and turn a camera on, I'm not going to. If I have the chance to be with, my friends or my dad or whatever and shoot some birds, if I can't make it over there to turn that on, I'm not gonna I'm not going to stress too much about it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather have ducks on the strap than a video of anything else. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I got the 2 GoPros. I ended up getting the extended batteries for, so you can just turn them on and let them run for the whole hunt. It's a little bit tougher on the back end with editing. You got to go through all that footage, but that makes it a little easier. But I'm going to try to do a better job with the big camera this season. Do a little more captions and a little more talking in between scenes, and just doing a little better storytelling, I think, is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It's cool to watch the GoPro footage, but it's kind of nice to mix it in with the big camera, and which is tough to do when you're hunting by yourself a lot. So, and like we talked about before, Mike, living in Pennsylvania, it's not like sometimes you don't have waves and waves and waves of birds coming. You might get 3-4 flocks to get your limit, and you just can't sit there and film and wait for the next pass.
Right. And I mean, I feel the same way, not just with camera equipment, but I feel the same way with, switching up the setup. Sometimes, I mean, if we, have an 8-pack of mallards, do it dirty or start to commit, and then they see something they don't like, that might be the only flock that we see all day. We'll never know. Was it our hide? Was it, the spinner? We don't know. So that's right. Puts us at a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, that speaks volumes then, that we have to really concentrate on making sure our hide's bulletproof and the set, there's only so much you can do with your set. Sometimes you have to change it, but there's no excuse for the hide, even though I try to make excuses because I get lazy.
Right, hucking the decoys is the fun part. Chopping down all the grass and the brush and lining the blind and everything. That's no good. But I will say that Chase is also a big stickler about the hide too, which is great because it holds me accountable. Where I'll say, you know what, that might be good, and then he'll be like, all right, just 5 more minutes, and then, all right, you know what, fine, 5 more minutes, that makes sense, and then it looks a hell of a lot better after that 5 minutes. So it's nice to have that accountability.
Yeah, I just feel like you can never be too hidden.
Yeah, that's a great approach. I've heard people say that before. When you're sick of brushing the blind in, brush it in for 5 more minutes, and then you'll be done.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that idea. And I like that you hold people accountable, so I'm going to be your biggest offender. You're going to have to stay on me.
I don't think it's you we have to worry about.
So yeah, we're things are coming together. We've scouted a lot of places already. I feel like we've got a pretty good list of places to go for duck season. It's just going to be fine-tuning that as it comes and seeing what the migration's doing. Kind of walk me through what you learned this year with your scouting in your new spots.
I think one thing in the past, I was too focused on just getting access to a spot, e-scouting something or driving by and saying, in the past I was too focused on just getting to the water or to the field and seeing the best way to do it. And now I feel like gaining more knowledge. I'm looking at food. I'm looking at spots to hide. I'm looking at water depth. I'm looking at, is this going to be a kayak spot? Can we walk in here? Spots, especially if the wind is coming from this spot, we have some great hide. But, if the wind is coming from, this direction, we might not have a great hide. We might have to find somewhere else. And so I think at first I was just more worried about getting there and saying, you know what, I'll figure it out. But it's hard to figure out those things at 4 a.m. when it's freezing cold. So let me try my best to figure out what I can before the hunt in terms of food, feathers, water depth, hide, all that good stuff. Just figuring that out now, I think that that helped me a lot, especially this past year scouting so much more than I ever have any summer. So I think that's helped me out a lot.
Yeah, especially with apps like OnX and things, you can take so many notes. There's really no excuse for not being prepared for all that stuff. So that's a super great point to think about. Not just going out and scouting and seeing, food and birds and feathers, taking that all into account for hide and wind and water depth. That's one thing that I've really been keying in on the last handful of years, is trying to get better with water depth and keeping an eye on the Corps of Engineer water level sites, and I forget the other one. Is it NOAA? NOAA has the water depths for the rivers and some of the reservoirs. But yeah, that's super important and easy to keep track of. Like that one spot we hunt out east, depending on how that river's backed up in there, that could totally change whether you can even get to a spot or not. So we learned that the hard way a couple of years back, but that's what really made me start paying attention to those water levels.
Oh, for sure. I think too, with, like I said, liking to get my kayak out there too, and I know it's great and I can hold gear and whatever, but sometimes it's not feasible. But other times too, I try to look at the water, the depth, and then what the bottom of the water is. Is it vegetation? Is it rocks? Is it mud? Because it could be 2-3 feet, and I'm like, oh, you know what, I can make it out there to huck some decoys or get a bird, but will I be up to my knees in mud? Will I get stuck out there? So I've just been trying to pay attention to the bottom as well, kind of what's on there.
Yeah. How about you, Chase? You learn anything new this year? Any new spots?
One of the big things I learned was sometimes an easy walk in isn't always the best. Sometimes you have to walk a good distance to get to a good spot, to get away from the people.
Yeah.
I'm just big on walking in personally. Like, I guess to find the birds, you're going to have to do some walking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another great point. A lot of people have boats, a lot of people have kayaks, but most people don't want to walk more than half a mile to get to a spot. So if you got some spots that are only leg power to get there, you're going to have a pretty good opportunity to be away from the pressure for sure.
Hey, it's Paris. I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Now, you don't have a dog, do you, Chase?
I do. I actually have, a black lab, but she's not trained to hunt.
Okay.
I wish she was. She pheasant hunts, but I can't get her to sit still.
Yeah. Yeah, it made me think about that when Mike was talking about retrieving birds, and it would be nice if we could get somebody in our crew that had a dog, but we've been pretty fortunate. We don't lose too many birds. We usually have a kayak or something with us to be able to get out there and get them.
Yeah.
I've got a 10-year-old house dog here. He's a lab. I thought about training him years ago, but my daughters were small when we got him, and that kind of went south. And people always ask me, they're like, man, when are you going to get a dog? And I don't know. I'm getting older. I'm getting closer to retirement, and it's a big commitment. I don't want to shortchange the dog. It's a lot of money and a lot of training to put into them. And, I would just have to make sure that I'm committed for that. And I know just right now with everything I got going on, it's just not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, it's a big commitment.
Yeah. Mike, how about you? Newly engaged? You going to be getting a duck dog and a brand new boat here soon?
Hey, my fiance is a dog fanatic. I know that if I said, hey, I'm bringing home another dog, the dog might like her more than me, but that's one thing that her and I both agree on wholeheartedly, that she has a silver lab, not trained to hunt or anything. But I had already said that I want a lab, and I want to train him or her to be my duck dog, and she was super supportive of that, super excited, and she did a really great job even just house training her dog with a lot. So it'll be nice to have that. I mean, support, because it takes a lot to train a good lab. So I'm excited. I'm not, totally sure when exactly that's going to happen. I should probably go through planning the wedding and all that good stuff first, paying for the wedding first and all that good stuff, and then hopefully not, this season, hopefully next season I can have something in the works.
That'll be cool. Yeah, you're doing it the right way. You got to take care of taking her out of town this weekend and not scouting all weekend. And I've been married 27 years now, so yeah, you got to keep mama happy if you want to keep doing this stuff, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I said in the other episodes I had been on, she's a trooper about coming out. So there are times where if she's fed and she's warm, she's like, you know what, I'll go bird hunting. And the first time I took her out duck hunting, I had about a dozen goose silos on the bank, and I was like, hey, you need to throw these out here. I wasn't very descriptive. And I threw out the ducks, and I was packing up, and I was like, wow, those look really good. She said, yeah, I just wanted to make it look like they were all hanging out, conversing with each other. And I was like, that's the name of the game. I was like, it looks good. So she was happy to do that. So it made for a good time.
Yeah, that's cool. So Chase, you have a girlfriend. Are you engaged or not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. You still got to keep her happy if you want to keep going hunting.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
So what are your goals for this season? You guys have like a set amount of hunts that you'd like to try to get done in a season, or a certain amount of birds that you'd like to kill?
I feel like, I guess, since I'm relatively new to waterfowl hunting still, every year I tell myself I'm going to set a bird number as a goal. And then every year it gets closer and closer. And I think, you know what, if I scratch out two here, 2 ducks, a goose here, stuff like that will keep me happy. I think I just want to be consistent with filming this year. That'd be fun to be more consistent. But I think, some people might think it's lame, and some people say that they're only out there to kill ducks, but I think one of my goals is to enjoy it more. We work so hard to do all this stuff, and not that I don't enjoy it, but sometimes, I'm super pissed if I whiff on a bird, or, it's not a great hunt or whatever, but then I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, got out there with my friends, or if I went out there with my dad, and, just kind of maybe being a little bit easier on myself with that would be a goal of mine, to, just enjoy God's creation and spend quality time with some guys I care about. So maybe I'm getting a little too sappy with getting married this year, but
Yeah, you'll be ready for a pumpkin spice latte here shortly.
I'm coming to every hunt with one just for that.
I'll be drinking one with you. I can't say anything.
Man, they're good.
Yeah, that's all good points. I mean, I try to shoot for a number of hunts just so I can hold myself accountable. And being in Pennsylvania, if you shoot 2 birds a hunt, if you average 2 birds a hunt, I should say, you're doing pretty well. So if you get 30 days in, 30 hunts in, and 60 birds, that's a heck of a season in my book.
Yeah.
Chase, how about you? About how many days you planning on hunting?
I don't really have a set goal, like, at this time, really. Like Mike said, I just kind of want to go out and just have fun, just be out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a bonus to go out and shoot a few birds here and there, maybe shoot a limit. But at the end of the day, I just like to go out and just it's the camaraderie for me. Just chill with my friends and hang out.
Right. Yeah, I think I set a goal of trying to get out 30 hunts last year, and going out west helps a lot, because if I'm out there for a week, 5 days, 7 days, that's 5 days in a row right there. You crack off, and then normally out west, the duck hunting's a little bit better, so you might get a 3-bird average or 4-bird average, just depends. So that kind of makes it easy. I really don't get hung up on bird numbers. I mean, we all want to shoot our limits every time we go out, but it's just not feasible, and it's not that important to me. I mean, again, I'm not going to lie and say we don't want to. That's what we're out there for. But enjoying everything else that you guys mentioned, the people that you're with, the locations, the hard work to get in there. Sometimes you look back on some of those hunts that takes you 2 miles crashing through the brush and dragging a sled and all that stuff, heavy snow. It's like, even if you only get a couple of birds, it's like, man, that we earned those things, man. It just makes the memories that much better.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's how I felt last year twice. Once in like mid to late November, me chasing our other buddy, couple ducks, a lot of geese, and for that field that we hunt, we're not allowed to drive our trucks into the field. So it's sometimes 3 trips each up and down this hill with the amount of gear that we have. And I think Chase knows the day that I'm talking about. The weather was terrible. I was soaking wet. It was just, and when we were busting up flocks of birds, I was like, you know what, man, that was worth it. And then last year, Brian, when you and I had hunted closer to Christmas time, that 3-pack did it. And like I said, that maybe a believer of the animator, that bird tried to land on the spinner.
Oh, yeah.
You called the shot and I pillowcased it, and I was like, I'm fine with this one bird. Just watching him do it like that. You called it. You shot 2, I shot 1, and I was like, I don't even care if I see another bird the rest of the day. We got out there, busted up some ice, and that, was 1 mallard for me. And I was like, that just made my whole week, man.
Yeah, that was a cool hunt. I think about that often and look back on the footage, and that's my favorite thing about filming, is being able to go back. Like I'll be leaving for teal season here soon out west, and I went back and watched all my teal hunts from last year, and it's just like, to be able to do that, to go back and have those preserved like that, that's like the best part of it. I don't care how many views they get, how many likes it gets, it's just always going to be there for me to watch.
Yeah, man, and I think too, as my dad gets older now, he had retired about 2 years ago, and now that my dad gets older and he doesn't get out as much, kind of piggybacking off what you said, man, just even if it's not us, shooting birds, Chase knows my dad is usually pretty rowdy. He's a heck of a time, and even if him and I just take a couple pictures, just so that, we can look back at some point and just see all the times that we were just hanging out in the woods,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely take advantage of that every chance you get, man. My dad passed away when he was 64, so this will be my 11th hunting season without him, and it doesn't get any easier. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff, because he took the time to take me out camping, fishing, hunting, and yeah, I have a lot of hunts that I remember going on him with, and a couple of special ones out west before he passed away. So definitely don't ever let that get lost on you or take it for granted, because you're not guaranteed anything.
Right. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, so we got this boat project going on here. I just picked up another motor for it yesterday so we can get into the reservoirs and some of the other lakes that have a 20 horsepower limit. It's coming along. I think we're going to be golden for duck season. I was hoping to have it ready for goose season. I don't know if that's going to happen, but next year for sure we're going to have a full summer of fishing and waterfowl hunting. But I think we're going to have it ready for duck season.
Heck yeah. Yeah, man, that was a fun project, even though I was only there for a couple of hours. I feel like we made some good progress, and it was cool. It's going to be so cool, when the rig is all finished, and just looking at, the pictures of when you first got it, a couple pictures of the middle of the project, and then that boat getting finished. It's going to be a cool transformation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably not going to be real fancy this year. Mm-hmm. Like I have some big goals for it, for putting on like a bed liner finish or something on the whole thing, like a tan and camo or something, with a bunch of what do they call that, EVA foam or whatever on the inside, and some lights. And don't think that's all going to happen this year, but we'll have a shell and a motor and somewhere to throw our decoys and cruise around. So
yeah, I mean, if she floats and she moves, we're good to go.
Yeah. Yep, that's all we need to do. So you went up and scouted one of those reservoirs I was talking about with the horsepower limit.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that and kind of what you were excited about there.
Well, yeah, when Chase and I were up there, we basically spent the whole day. We had pinned a couple of spots that we wanted to check out, and then along the way we had just on the road, which is nice because I can drive and kind of look, and Chase had pointed out a couple of things that he saw, and we spent a whole day scouting, and it was cool too. We had run into a local, and he was like, what are you guys doing? We're like, we're looking for some birds. And he's like, I don't hunt birds anymore, I'm more of a fisherman. But he was like, I frequent this area. So it was almost an hour, I would say. He just kind of took us around and showed us. We spent a whole day there, and a good mix of some backwater and some main channel spots, kind of weather dependent. So, I mean, every 150, 200 yards you can find a good spot. So like I said, we had spent a whole day there, and got a lot of ground covered in the time that we were there.
So that dude was doing some spot burning.
Oh, absolutely. He was burning some spots, man. I said, I'll take that. I'll drop a couple pins, man.
Yeah, it's like that guy I got the trolling motor off of. He was like, "Oh, you're getting this for a duck boat?" He's like, "Oh, I hunt here. We got all kind of birds here. We never see anybody here." I'm like, "Dude, you need to zip your lips about that." I get back to the truck. I'm like pulling up my OnX. I'm like, "Okay, here's where he was talking about here."
Heck yeah, man.
Man, that's one thing I say to Mike all the time: never give up our spots.
No, that's a good practice. I had a really good spot probably since I think I started hunting there in 2009, maybe 2010. A couple of good friends of mine showed it to me. They've since not hunted waterfowl in a long time, but I would never go back there without asking them if they weren't with me. And it got to the point where they were like, "Hey, yeah, just have at it, man, because we're not hunting anymore." But I was on I think it was Facebook, and somebody had typed out this big long thing about this place, and I'm like, no. And I did see an increase in pressure, but it's kind of tailed off. You remember when we went to, I think it was 2 mallards for a bunch of years? That really seemed to cut a lot of people back on the pressure for a while. But now we're back. We're back to 4. So, but yeah, it's super important, especially in Pennsylvania. Like we talk about 600,000 deer hunters. There may only be 14,000 so-called duck hunters in PA, but there's enough people doing it, when they're bored or want something to do, that there's a lot of pressure. So it's important to stay quiet about your spots for sure.
Oh, absolutely, and that's why you got to be careful if you post in some of the Facebook groups too, the background, because if somebody sees a certain tree and whatever, and one little thing, somebody will comment and say, hey, I know where you're at. And that's the last thing that I want. So that's why I don't even, if I post on those Facebook groups, man, it's just like a bird, 2 birds on a strap, on a tree, something, like never the whole kit and caboodle, man.
Yeah, you got to be super cognizant of that for sure. I had a situation last year where I did a video about my duck rig, and I sleep in the back of my truck and did like a walkthrough, and I got a message from a guy. I was hunting up north in Pennsylvania, and he was like, hey, I saw your truck here at this. I'm like, dang it. I shouldn't have put that video out there. It's like little stuff like that you don't even think about. And I tried to play it off. I was like, I said, no, I don't know. I wasn't over there that day, but I'm sure he knew. I mean, it's not a super unique truck, but you know, if you follow my socials or follow my YouTube, I'm sure you're going to recognize it. And I don't have any stickers or anything. I've never have. All the years I've been hunting, I've never put any hunting stickers or anything. Mm-hmm. I just don't want people to, you know, recognize the truck. Or even around here, I bought one of those electric bikes years ago because I'd be in a spot after a big buck, and one of my neighbors or one of my coworkers like, oh, I saw your truck down here, and I'm like, dang it. So those e-bikes are sweet, man. You just slide into the woods and hide them, and nobody even knows you're there.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of the spots, at least for duck hunting, that I have, even if I got a little cart on the back, I'm up and down and all around. So. Oh
yeah, that's e-bikes for waterfowl would be pretty hard. Yeah, that's for sure. Unless you got a big ass sled and enough open space to pull it behind the bike with, maybe.
Well, yeah, that's speaking about the storage and stuff and sleds. Chase and I had talked a lot this year about some gear to make our lives a little bit easier rather than just pulling a sled. And I have the kayak that I have for waterfowls is pretty big, and so I got a nice set of wheels for it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can just load that sucker down, and even some practice runs in the backyard, loading it down and pulling it with the wheels is just a total game changer. I'm going to use it to retrieve birds anyway, so might as well fill it up.
Yeah, that's one of the things I got for myself this season. Well, is I got a gorilla cart to actually put my decoy bags in, take it out to the spot, and stuff. Use like a sled and trying to cross.
Yeah.
At least this has wheels. It'll probably make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, for sure, man. Anything to lighten the load a little bit, especially when you get to be my age. You guys are still pretty young and spry, but I turned 50 last year, so I'm slowing down a little bit.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Ooh. Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
So as far as equipment goes, Mike, what shotgun are you using this year?
I'm using a Franke Affinity 3. I have the same gun in a 12 gauge and a 20 gauge. I was shooting the Carlson Cremator extended chokes. I have since, as of this afternoon, I purchased a Muller choke for my 12 and my 20.
Good man.
Yeah, I mean, not even to like plug anything, but everybody's been raving about the flight day ammo with the Muller, and I mean, I'm shooting the flight day ammo, so I said that's their recommendation. I might as well take it for a spin. So I have that in the 12 gauge and the 20 gauge. Chase actually turned me on to the 20 gauge. I was a 12 gauge for life guy, and then I shot that 20 a couple of times, and I was like, this is This is pretty light, man. There's not a lot of recoil either. I kind of like this thing, man. So I have both in the 12 and 20. I'm not sure exactly what my plan would be, but I wanted both of them to be set up the exact same way to make it a seamless transition when I go from one to the other.
Did you get the decoy or passing chokes?
I got both.
Oh man! So you got 4.
I got 4, man. That was my treat. You know, I got my.
You're the man.
I got my little job, new job, and a little treat to myself.
Yeah, you got the you ordered the flight day ammo, so got to go with the Mauler choke. And you know, I was a pattern master guy forever, and this season I'll be running the Mauler myself too with the flight day ammo, of course. So yeah, looking forward to that, man. That's cool. How about you, Chase? What are you shooting?
So I'm sort of the same way Mike is. I have both a 12 gauge. I actually, it's a Beretta like factory modified choke. It's just extended instead of like a flush fit choke. I prefer the extended ones.
Yeah.
I mean, after shooting my 20 gauge, which I got at the very end of last season, I didn't even get a chance to hunt with it. I have only shot it a few times for trap, but I think that's the way I'm going to go for this season is a 20 gauge.
Okay.
Even for geese.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how you guys do with those 20 gauges. That's what a lot of people seem to be going to. I'm going to stick with the old Beretta A400 12 gauge. I'll be shooting the Mauler passing choke, flight day ammo. I've got a pile of bismuth here from flight day. I'm probably going to rock some of that at some geese. But I like their steel too, man. I've been impressed with how the steel's been patterning. They're getting pretty low on the bismuth. That industry is going to be up in the air, so might as well just get used to shooting the steel while we're at it.
Oh, for sure. And I will say that Chase is definitely a Beretta guy because last year I watched him absolutely snipe a goose with his 12 gauge with the modified choke. I didn't think that sucker was still going, and I see Chase pull up, and then I watched that thing veer off. That was one of the highlights of my season last year, man. I was like, he's gonna shoot that thing, and he pulled up and he let the Beretta eat, and that's, dude, I like fell over. I was like, he full on sniper rifled it. It was hilarious, dude. That made my whole day. That was so funny.
It was trying
to. Dude, hilarious. That was great.
Yeah, man, it's funny how something like that can make your day. It's really cool when you see your buddies pull off a heck of a shot like that. It just makes the whole day.
Yeah, dude, it was. I didn't think he was going to do it, and he did it, and that sucker dropped, man. I started cracking up.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to be rocking a lot of rig 'em right decoys this year, too. I know you got a bunch, and I got a bunch. I like everything that they make. I got a big shell pouch here that they sent me. All their decoy rigging's hard to beat. The Texas rigs makes things real easy. Their decoy bags are nice. Trying to think what else. We're going to be using those fast strike blinds too. You turned me on to those last year. I really like how easy it is to set those things up.
Yeah, man. I had the one panel. I wasn't sure how much I was going to use it, and last summer Chase and I were scouting, and he was like, "You have the fast strike blind, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I only have one." And he was like, "Well, we're about 20 minutes away from somebody on Facebook selling 2 more." And I was like, "Message them because I'm driving. Tell them we'll be there in 20 minutes with cash." And and we picked up the other 3, man. I know that opening day last year, it was me, Chase, his brother, and our other buddy. We had about 8 feet of the panels, and we were hitting good. And I think those are going to be a game changer moving forward.
Yeah, I used to run a lot of Drake blinds, the kind of like the not really pop-up ones, but they kind of fold into themselves. and they're pretty heavy, pretty cumbersome, and kind of hard to brush into. They take a lot of brush to brush in because they're kind of boxy looking. But yeah, those fast strikes are cool, man. I like it. It takes you a little bit longer because you have to use all natural brush, but once you get it going, you kind of disappear in there.
Yeah, I think the fast strike just does a lot better job of like just blending in with the environment around you.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to blend in, say, like a whole layout blind, you're trying to, I guess, make it look like it's not sitting in a field. You got to blend it in.
Yep. Yeah, and you're forced to use all natural stuff around you, so
yeah,
it's gonna be better than some manufactured camo fabric thing laying there for sure. So what kind of waders are you guys rocking this year? I haven't really had to buy anything new. I'm still using my banded insulated for late season, and I still rock a Cabela's lightweight stocking foot wader for early season because my feet get too hot. I can't have anything with like insulation in the boots. What are you guys using this year?
Yeah, for my early season waders, I had a Rogers pair, and you could take the liner in and out. And then 2-3 weekends ago, Chase and I were scouting, and I had taken my Rogers waders off, and I was like, "Is that a pinhole?" And I had like a couple perfect little circles of water on my pants, and so those have a pinhole. But last year I was running the insulated because I get cold Drake front zip. I forget what exact model they are, but the Drake front zip insulated waders were my go-to. Nice and warm. I like those.
Chase, what are you using? Sitka.
So I actually have a pair of like Drake like hip boots that I plan on using for like shallow water, like during the season. And then I actually have a pair of Drake like front zip. I think they're the Guardian Elite models. I think they're actually similar to what Mike has. Except mine are uninsulated. I don't like wearing insulated waders. I just like the layer underneath mine.
Yeah. Does those front zippers make a big difference? I've never worn a pair with a zipper in the front.
I mean, I think it's a lot more comfortable and it makes it a lot easier to take them like on and off.
Yeah.
I think it's just, it feels like they fit a lot better.
Sure. Yeah, I know Aves has been working on a set of waders for the last couple of years, and the designer's just not happy with where they're at to this point. They're almost there, but he's like trying to perfect them, which I commend him for that. He was kind of bummed that they weren't going to have them out for this year, but you know, hey, don't release something until you're happy with it, and hopefully next season they'll be out, and I'm excited to get a pair and put them to the test.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, just from seeing all the AV stuff that you have, how truly high quality it is, doesn't strike me as the company that would put out something that wasn't up to par with some of those other things.
Right.
The waders are, I don't know, I had made a funny TikTok about the waders being my favorite piece of equipment because I just like standing in the water, man. But I mean, I know that some people, you know, really cheap out on the waders sometimes, and then I think that's one thing that I will consistently spend the good money on, because you've never been, you know, as miserable as you are when it's the middle of January, and you're like, actually, I don't know if that's sweat or if that's water in there, and then, you know, your waders are standing up on their own because they're totally flooded. So that's one thing I will definitely not cheap out on is the quality of a good set of waders.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the most like important pieces of gear as a waterfowl hunter is your waders, because I feel like you use those the most out of anything.
Yeah. How old were those Rogers before they started leaking?
This was I want to say I had them for about 3 seasons.
That's about average.
Yeah, they were my first pair breathable. I came from neoprene to those, and I will say that I know that some people are, maybe a little more picky about the areas that they walk in when they have their waders on. I'm incredibly impatient, so rather than going around, I'll just mow through something, and I know that that's my fault. But yeah, it was 3 seasons, so they had a good run for sure, especially for the price point that I got them at.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what these Aves ones turn out to be. That they did something completely different with the boot. They couldn't even get a manufacturer to manufacture the boot because nobody's ever done it before. The style and the process that they come up with, they had to start from completely from scratch, even from a manufacturer standpoint. Because I think a lot of wader companies are just okay, here's the industry standard for the boot. We're just going to slap that on there. And Aves was no, we're designing everything from the ground up, and we're going to try to make the best wader on the market. I think they're going to do it too.
Yeah, and with, like I said, with the quality of some of their other products, I can't see it, being nothing but the best. And
yeah,
you definitely get your worth for a lot of their stuff, which is good.
Yeah, they just got another shipment of their hybrid elite packs in. They've been out of stock all year, and that was another thing that super innovative. I like to run a big backpack, but everything ends up all in the bottom, or you're having to dig through there with your headlamp and try to find everything. Well, this pack has a flap on the side, on the front, and it has shelves in it. So everything is organized. So however you set it up, okay, my headlamps are on the top shelf, my gloves are on the middle shelf, my ammo's on the bottom shelf, whatever. I'm looking forward to that now that they're back in stock. They're shipping me one out tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to putting that through its paces too.
Yeah, I feel like that'll be big for camera equipment, kind of having the shelves as well.
For sure.
Staying, you don't want 2 boxes of shells crushing your camera, and just keeping the camera in its own little locker cubby, I think is gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think, what else didn't we cover? We're gonna just be scouting the next couple of weeks. We'll be hunting next Monday, and man, it's just gonna be rolling once we hit next week.
Yeah, once it starts, we'll be full speed ahead. I know that last year Jason and I had a couple decent even afternoon dove and goose hunts to, you get that opening push Labor Day weekend, and it's really good for about a week or so, and then things start to slow down. But those couple afternoon hunts in September got us through to October, and then it was full steam ahead at that point.
Yeah, jump shooting doesn't get as much love as I don't think as it should. I really enjoy doing a good jump shoot, and being a busy guy like you guys are too. Sometimes in the evening, it's kind of fun to go out and jump shoot a couple of geese, jump shoot a couple of wood ducks. If you only have an hour or so, you don't have time to go out and set up. So I've got all kind of spots around home to do stuff like that too. So I got to take advantage of that a little more. I used to do a lot more of it in my younger days, but definitely want to do that. And some float trips. I want to do some more floats, shooting ducks and geese, just, stealth floating along and coming up on some groups. And it's been a long time since I did stuff like that too. So
yeah, that would be sweet. Jason and I had talked about that one. I forget what day we were somewhere. We're talking about just, and then I know that me, you, and Sean had talked about maybe trying to do that too. Just taking the trucks out and just floating and seeing what we can spook up.
Yeah, there's so many beautiful places in western Pennsylvania where you can do that. Definitely going to take advantage of that more. Chase, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I'm just fired up for Monday, ready to get back out there.
Yeah,
ready to geese.
If you had to guess, where do you think we're going to end up on Monday?
Not going to give that information away just yet.
Just field or water is what I was looking for.
I'm going to say a field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Mike, any final thoughts?
Clean up your trash when you're in the outdoors. That was you and I had gone to that one spot, saw tons of trash, and sometimes we get a bad rap. Not everybody's into hunting as it is anyway, and try to just leave your spot better than the way you found it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think I'm going to blame that one on the fishermen at that spot, but you're right. Absolutely. Got to pick it up, whether you're fishing, camping, hunting, taking your girlfriend out there, whatever. Clean up. Don't throw your stuff out the window or in the water. All right, gentlemen. Well, I appreciate you taking the time tonight. I appreciate your friendship. Looking forward to hunting with you guys. Like I've mentioned before, a lot of my waterfowl hunting buddies have kind of fallen off over the last few years with having kids and different things in their career, and it got kind of lonely there for a while, so it's kind of nice to have some buds in the blind again. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, dude, no doubt.
We appreciate it as well.
Heck yeah, man. We're a good time, I promise.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Big thank you to Mike and Chase for taking time out of their day to join me on the show. And thank you all for tuning in to this episode. I really appreciate it. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Migration Waterfowl. We also have a Facebook group for the podcast. Please join us there as well. And if you could, please do me a favor and subscribe to the YouTube channel while you are there. Lots of great content coming that way throughout the rest of the year. We also have a Patreon channel. It's patreon.com/migrationwaterfowl. If you want to support the show there. I've got some other message boards and photos and videos and just some different stuff I'm doing over there if you want to check that out. You can sign up as a free member. I'm keeping that open. Everything's available for the free members for a while until we get that community going a little better. But that's another way you can interact with me, support the show, interact with the waterfowl, Migration Waterfowl community over there, and check it out. You can shop our merchandise at migrationwaterfowl.com. Check out our shirts, hoodies, thermoses, coffee, and more over there. And now through the end of August, 10% of everything we sell will go to Delta Waterfowl. Thank you to everyone who's been purchasing merchandise and supporting the show. I've really been enjoying seeing everybody wearing the merch around the country on social media. Appreciate the pictures and the tags, and keep those coming. If you like what you've heard here, please take a moment and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Send me a message or email after you leave the review, and I will mail you a podcast decal. And get out there and enjoy the outdoors, but make sure you seek out a relationship with the one who created everything. Romans chapter 8, verses 26 and 27 says, "In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God." And remember, the migration is coming. Be ready when it arrives. Tune in next week to hear another great guest on the Migration Waterfowl Podcast.